For the we are back with the final showcase of For the Of course we are. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I didn't clip there because my internet may not be the best. I'm trying my hardest. Unfortunately, I'm out of town. I will not miss the Grand Finals Mappool Showcase though. And I hope none of my friends also miss it. I am Juan Crystal commentating alongside the usual trio for the showcases. It's Paturaj to my right. How are you doing?
Hi, welcome to the Grand Finals Showcase, and this is gonna be the last time that you are gonna hear our voices commentating the maps for this edition of 40M. This is the last week, the final week, dare I say Grand Finals week as well. I have another commentator in the booth to my figurative other direction. I completely forgot what direction Juan mentioned at first, but Mappool, how are you?
Hello. I am back, and we're here. The last one, no more after this. It is so exciting. This has been a great addition, honestly. These maps have been really good, and we will be seeing the maps for the last pool, which are also really, really good, honestly, soon. But I think we're gonna do the bracket first, right?
Yeah, this time around we're swapping the order a little bit. We're gonna be doing the bracket first because it's a bit shorter, and because we have something cooking for the ending of the stream, and we wanted to have time to prep for it. So let's just right into it, jump into it. We have, of course, the losers bracket. We saw some great matches there. Philippines being defeated by Italy, a bit of a surprise, I think. A bit of an upset, if I say so myself. On the finals losers bracket, United States taking home the victory against Malaysia, and then defeating the Italians to reach the top 3 spot. They get the podium, and they will be facing Taiwan, who lost against Vietnam on the winners bracket. It was quite a finals, actually. It's interesting that we saw a sweep, which is kind of rare. I think we haven't seen a sweep since quarterfinals.
Yeah, I don't think there's been a sweep for a while, which is kind of sad to see that there was a sweep in finals losers second round, but I mean, USA kind of just did really, really well there. And at least the match before it, the USA versus Malaysia match, was really, really good. So that kind of made up for it.
Absolutely. And now, I mean, Vietnam still looking quite unstoppable, if I'm honest. They have the spot secured on the winners bracket final, so they will need to lose twice. If they don't win the tournament, they will have to lose twice against either Taiwan rather, and the United States. They'll be battling each other to see who gets that option. At the end of the day, they all get at least a podium spot. So all the top 3 already there decided. I'm not sure who I put my money in, really. Like, Vietnam, of course, looking like the great candidate here. They took Taiwan fairly well, 7-3, albeit not as dominant as a performance as we saw previously, but some of the maps were really decided and very decisive, rather, in favor of the Vietnamese. So, I mean, I kind of don't... I would love to see an upset. I would love to see a bracket reset at the very least, but I mean, to me, Vietnam is looking quite like the candidate.
Yeah, I mean, Vietnam has been playing exceptionally throughout the entire tournament, honestly. They're number 1 seed for a reason. Maybe they'll finally be able to break the number 1 seed curse that 40M has had on those number 1 seeds. But for me, personally, I'm hoping that this curse still goes on and USA is able to make it up and get to that losers bracket, or up to a bracket reset and win. I'm trying to think. Honestly, whatever this last match is going to be, either if it's Taiwan or USA, it'll be really, really interesting to see how these teams play in this harder map pool, since honestly, this map pool is a very big step up. So it'll be basically a whole different match for whoever plays Vietnam.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be a battle of survival for the remaining countries. And
Or
also,
the M?
Yeah, let's go. Also, I do want to mention that the US is the only non-Asian country remaining on the list. So if the US makes it out of the losers bracket, then it's gonna make, I guess, scheduling a little bit interesting for Vietnam. But there are very few matches to go on, so I think scheduling is gonna be okay.
Yeah, I hope so. And also, just to say this, I think both Vietnam and Taiwan, this is their first time in like even top 6, right? Like they've had such a good rise this year.
I believe
specifically.
so. Yeah, I don't recall Taiwan or Vietnam being this high up on the list. So it's very nice to see some newcomer teams. Remember, of course, should 4DM happen again next year, it's very likely that the winners will get skill banned. And I wouldn't be surprised if most of the players remaining on the grand finals get skill banned due to the algorithm anyway. So this may be their last dance on 4DM scene. So we shall see.
Yeah, a lot of players skill boosting throughout the tournament is a common theme because, believe it or not, being put into a tournament situation kind of makes your skill go up in a way.
Yep,
That is
at
true.
least if you make it this far. But hey, that's all for the teams, I think. That's all for the bracket. We don't have much more to really cover. Do we want to pick a winner now? I'll say it's going to be Vietnam.
I say USA. Bias. No bias, I mean.
That means I'll take the remaining country, Taiwan.
I like this. It is a perfectly reasonable 33% chance for each based on commentary predictions. Next week we'll probably have something like or dark horse or preferred dark horse or like the most surprising team or whatever. Something like this is something we may do next week as we have some surprises still cooking for the very last end of this. Before that, of course, we'll present you with the Grand Finals Showcase. The last one of the whole tournament for the M ends next weekend, and I hope you enjoyed this ball, and as I hope that you enjoyed the previous ones.
Yep. And yeah.
So the Rise 1.
Let's go. Last showcase, Rise number 1. This is the last quote-unquote easy rise that you're gonna see. This is gonna be Marga the Fire by Dan Terminus, mapped by CO Style. Let's go, France!
Wow. let's go,
Soft
France.
Rios, actually. I think this is from Soft Free. I'm not sure which stuff
I
was it.
didn't know that. But, I mean, we're already seeing this map instantly. We like how we have been seeing in past Rice 1, where they're kind of easy. It's very, very filled with core jacks with some streams in between, but I feel like this speed of core jack is actually super, super difficult, and the density is just off the charts, honestly.
This was Soft 3 finals, so that's how hard Grand Finals is nowadays for 4-digit. And this is the easy Rise pick, so expect things to get even wilder than this. But as you see, this is a bit of a mix of core jacks with very fast streams in between and some staccatos every now and then. So a bit of a mixed pick with a lot of emphasis in the core jacks. This is also fairly short, 1 minute and 25 seconds. So chokes are going to be very, very impactful.
Yeah, this is a very short pick, and it's not that technical, all things considered. Like, the snaps are fairly measured. Some of the anchors can be a little bit tricky, and also the core jack element of this map is very much gonna come into play here. But consider this a mixed Rise pick, sort of.
Into Rise 2, though, that was the easy of the bunch. Into the medium, the standard expected difficulty of the Rise pool in the Grand Finals. We have quite the epic song here coming.
Paris 2024.
Let's go!
It's the Olympics! Let's go!
Oh my god, that's crazy. How could this be?
And no, this is not Jill, this is Hyrodl! Let's go!
Yeah, so we see Hyrodl taking in for what Joel normally does, the E-type speed kind of category, I feel. And this is Olympia, and this is definitely a speed map. This map is honestly quite difficult if you're not good at these kind of speed maps, or these kind of Joel speed maps with like the mini jacks embedded into every single stream, basically. So something that you definitely will have to practice, but I feel like the players in this top 3 definitely have played Joel type of stream, so they should be decently comfortable with how slippery this can play.
Yeah, right from the get-go, I want to say that this is one of the most straightforward picks that you'll get in the entire tournament. Like, this is the closest you'll get to a Joel type of streams, as you've been saying. And this is kind of a mix of live jump stream and streams as a whole. And you can see like the patterns lend themselves to be pretty much playable. There are some trills here and there, but I do think that this flows pretty well.
It has the classic jolt transitions as well. Like this, if you didn't tell me this was high-low, then I'll say this is jolts.
Yeah, like I played this map on 1.0. This was slated for semifinals at some point, but we decided to upgrade it for grand finals because we already had other choices for semifinals. And yeah, I do want to say that this map is incredibly stamina draining. It just does not stop. So it is a kind of stamina map, but it is 2 minutes and 35 seconds long.
Yeah, also I do want to say that I feel like specifically in the middle two columns there are a lot of trills, especially in this later section like we're seeing right now. There's so many trills just transitioning between those two columns where you're playing from one hand speed to the other hand speed, and it's just definitely difficult to be able to accurately hit those and to be able to stay consistent on those, especially because you kind of have to if you want to get good combo.
And that's gonna be it then for Rise 2. We transition into the next medium category. It is Rise 3. We go from a speed-oriented type of map, again, maybe getting into the more specific kind of maps in the later stages of the pool, now that we have more space to work with. But Rise 3 is gonna be quite different.
Yep, it's going to be Hallucinatory Halo. Oh, no, that's not how you say it. Hallucinatory.
No, it's hallucinatory. Yeah, hallucinatory.
Hallucinatory.
Halo.
Great.
Yeah, whatever. You get that. You know English. I don't.
I do. But yeah, this is a Myzasirion map, which to me was like very interesting to see at first, because honestly I think of Myzasirion as more of a LN mapper, an LN hybrid, but this is honestly surprisingly fun to play. It's very, very comfortable. It's kind of like the breakcore jump stream map in my opinion.
Yeah, it has this broken jump stream-ish type of map or like structure, which it's like classic for breakcore songs like this. And it's most of the time pretty flowy, but it can drain your stamina quite a bit as well, because you have to anchor for a big while. Even though it is isolated and structured in a way that it plays pretty comfortably, it still can drain your stamina by a fair amount.
Yeah, watch out for those anchors and so on. This is yeah, this is pretty breakcore core. What am I saying?
Yeah,
in
that
any
doesn't
case,
sound right.
anyways, I do think that Myzasirion's style of technical maps do lend themselves for this pick to be pretty interesting as a whole.
Honestly, to me, I've definitely found that this map is, especially in subsections, I think in specific sections of this map, there are some areas where it's kind of uncomfortable, but a lot of the trails and stuff is honestly pretty easy to play. Like, we see a bunch of these kind of like doubles and stuff. Yeah, and they're super intuitive to play, and because of that, it's like really easy. But at the same time, because of how many there are, it's like super stamina draining, even though it is only like 2 minutes long, 2 minutes 30.
Some of those mini jacks as well.
Mini jack.
We haven't been seeing that many mini jacks though. Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
do. The drinking game.
Oh yeah, like there are not that many mini jacks in that map, I don't think. Like it's especially breakcore, very broken jump stream, hand stream, and anchor centered kind of map. But yeah, some of the mini jacks are transitional, especially towards the end, and gonna trip you up. Gonna be making people choke, and grand finals is the land of chokes. We want to go to the next map now, and this is gonna be a nice surprise for some of you.
Previous map was 260 ppm, by the way, for those that are wondering. Into Rise 4 now, though, which is a bit different. We have a red flashlight, the classic. It
Love
is
the red flash.
Oh, the red!
Sketch System Doctor. Yeah, it's a Balladig map. And this is not a custom, actually. It's So some people may already be familiar with this. This is only 8.5, so good luck accuracy this. It's actually not map by Valedict. Difficulties Valedict? Wait, hold up. I am a bit confused. I'm pretty sure that the map.
I think it is the other way around. This is a Valedict map, and honestly, some players may know Valedict. I think they had a few maps last year specifically, right?
Yeah, that was a pretty popular map.
But yeah, this is kind of like another jump stream pick, but I feel like this is fairly different, significantly different actually than the last map. I feel like this one has a bit more emphasis on kind of transitioning between your hands and your fingers just throughout every single stream pattern.
Yeah, the streams kind of spin around for a while every time here. With the other, you have more broken streams, so you have some like timing breaks to get your hands into the patterns, and this time you're just spinning your way. There's a lot of like staircases going on, so it's pretty tricky in that regard.
Yeah. Oh god, what was that?
What happened?
I got a noise in my ears.
Maybe me.
Yeah, talking a bit more about the map, I feel like this map has pretty big, like, pattern complexity kind of things. It's not like simple patterns through and through. They do feel not that bad to play, but they definitely don't look easy to understand at first. And also, keep in mind, this map is 3 minutes and 30 seconds long, so you'll be playing this for a decent bit, and I don't think there are many breaks until, like, 3/4 the map in or something insane. And like in that break, oh, you can talk.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. I was gonna say before I got jump scared by Juan here. So this map looks like a very jump stream centered map, but you've got some of those transitions with these technical bursts and mini jacks as well. So this looks like a very interesting trend for a grand final to go for. I think like so far we've seen a lot more straightforward, very physical leaning aspect to grand finals.
Yeah, that is definitely true, and I think there's going to be a very, very funny draw coming up right sometime soon, but it's like, so there it is, it's just so long. So definitely going to need the stamina after playing for whatever long you've been playing this kind of jump stream for. And what I did want to say was that in the break that was earlier, it's not really like a break since there are a lot of like very quick bursts to be able to play, but it is a slight bit easier than everything else. But other than that, honestly, this map is kind of like similar throughout, but really stamina, the trills, and like the lack of break causes a lot of problems for some people.
Yeah, I do also want to say that Valedict has a lot of maps that we haven't really explored in tournament situation, and that's because like this map, for example, like you wouldn't be able to really put it in a category in regular tournament meta, and the structure of this tournament does allow for this kind of map to live in a map pool a little bit more easily, at least.
I'm hoping the mic is now okay. Is it?
Yeah, I think you're okay now.
All right. Oof. That was bad. But hey, let's jump into the next Rice map then. This is the Rice hard map. So this is the hardest it's gonna get.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
first one to guess the song. I was gonna say, but the song title appeared very, very fast.
I mean, either way, this song is actually iconic, I feel like, to everyone. This has been mapped so many times. Specifically, I think most well known by these tournament players. MWC, I think 2021, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I do think that April's map, well, Shoegaze's map, was used in MWC at first. I do know that there's an evening map of this as well. I do not know whether evening's map was used for tournaments. I do not know whether Fabricator, also known as Sturgo, was used in tournaments.
I don't think so. But I think what I do want to say is that in the past few maps, y'all really haven't seen that many mini jack. Here's where they all are. They're all right here in this map. It's the hardest Rice map for a reason. There's so many places to choke just because of the mini jacks. They're super, super quick, honestly, surprisingly.
Oh, the 8.7, by the way.
OD 8.7, just like insane to be able to get high Akon. And yeah, I think it is edited. I don't know exactly what the edits are,
Yeah.
but yeah. Also, I think in between some of the courses, so here we have a bit of break, but between the courses, there are like a lot of sections where it's kind of very bursty to be able to play in. Honestly, I think that section can be the most difficult because none of the patterns are like similar. Like you can check like a 5-note pattern and look in 5 notes after, and it's just nowhere near the same at all.
Yeah, funny that you say that because Durgo has made itself known for very repetitive patterning on purpose. Like those, I think there are very discernible motifs in this map that you can just figure out by musical relevance, and I do think that from a mapper's perspective it is very, very elegant and beautiful, but as a player it is kind of a mind block field.
Yeah, it definitely is a mind block field. Luckily though, there's this section and then the section earlier with the chorus, and I honestly feel like there's not much left to this map. This last quarter is kinda, it's not necessarily filler, there's still a lot of sections to be able to kind of find a drop in, kind of lose some accuracy just out of nowhere. But it's definitely a bit easier than everything else, so you're not like playing intense mini jacks for 3 minutes and 40 seconds, it's probably like intense mini jacks for like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so it's still crazy.
Also, yeah, we like to use all the maps in this place, and I think throughout this tournament, like this entire tournament, there has been a little bit of an influence among poolers to kind of go for older maps that weren't necessarily big, that weren't necessarily suitable for 2024, like 2023, 2024 meta. So this is kind of one of them as well. I do want to say like this is kind of usable, but it's a little bit long as well.
Yeah, but with that being said, I think there's only one more Rice map, and it's going to be the Rice plus LN map. And here we are, something that players may know. It is End of Fairy Tale Techno Planet. However, it's a different map by Nezu instead, and it's on 1.1 here.
Oh, nice song choice.
Yeah, this song is super, super good, honestly. It's like, it's insane. I love the singing and Techno Planet's audio in the background.
And yeah, this is another choice. This is another pick that lends itself to be kind of speed oriented, not necessarily like not necessarily technical or anything. But this is gonna be the Rice plus LN pick. You see a fair amount of LNs being introduced here.
Yeah, I do think that it's quite different from last pool with the Rice 6, to where I think in last pool there was quite a bit more LNs. In this one, there's aren't as many, so definitely Rice teams are quite a bit favored. But it is still pretty fast. I mean, the patterns themselves are very simple, as you did say, Patraj, but they're like insanely fast, especially on this 1.1 rate. It's kind of a mess to be able to get really high combo on if you don't have the physicality for it.
I think one has died.
No,
or
I
is
haven't.
injured.
I'm just
Oh, okay.
I'm just not
I don't
talking
know.
much because I'm scared I may just break everything. Yeah.
No, it's
I
fine,
see.
it's fine. Like, it only broke like once. I do not know whether it was like from internet or something, but I think it's fine now.
Should be fine. Hope so. But yeah, like you were saying, this map is like again, fairly not intrusive in the LN side. It's just like, do you have the speed for this? If you sell, then there are some split patterns that are a bit tricky, but otherwise there isn't that much. This is the only section of the LN that can maybe cause some misses to race players, but otherwise, LNs are not really that complex at all. I wouldn't even call this a hybrid really, although it has some minor lens usage.
Yeah, and also this map is 275 BPM specifically, so that's really fast. But let us go out of the rice pool into the next pool, the LN pool, and we'll be seeing Rebellion by
It's not the
Jade.
LN pool,
It's the hybrid pool.
Hybrid pool. I like can think.
Hey, Jeppe, back with another customized, I believe. Yeah, it's a custom. It's written on the screen. I can read.
Nice.
Can you though?
Better than me, at least.
Oh, certainly. But yeah, it is Rebellion here, another custom map here, 2 minutes and 25 seconds. And it is a classical 50-50 for the most part. Like, there aren't many mix of LNs and Rice for the most part. It's either like you have this LN burst in the middle with tricky coordination, or just Rice transitions in between. So, can we call this the ranked hybrid map?
I was honestly, whenever I was looking back on this is very, very similar to any other ranked hybrid.
I was gonna say something scandalous. I was gonna say that this looked like a timing hell with rice in between.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but maybe.
There definitely are a lot of like reverse shields and shields that are present in a lot of the timing hell spawn. You definitely would know. But I do kind of feel like this is a kind of more straightforward kind of hybrid. I saw this and I'm like, oh, this is kind of like Guden's Ultima Thule, which is honestly really, really fun. And this is very much similar to where it's really fun to be able to play like the trills, the anchors and reverse shields and all this stuff. And it's just amazing to be able to play.
I think the main difficulty here will come from teams that struggle with the reverse shields for the most part, due to how small the gaps are in some instances. If you can nail that, then you should be mostly fine here. Of course, you need to be fairly physically capable, because this is very, very fast. But otherwise, there aren't like too many things going for it. Like, sure, you have coordination aspects, like timing hell-esque type of patterns that are very, very hard to hit. But, I mean, I would say the main... Well, I mean, you have some dense LN transitions as well that can be choke points. But otherwise, I think it's mostly up to reading those reverses properly and being able to physically hit those patterns, really.
Yeah, I also see the pattern of making things a little bit more physical and less technical in a way, even in the hybrid category. And this hybrid is likely going to be the least technical of all the hybrids, looking at my list so far, because some of those hybrids are really, really spicy. Going into hybrid 2.
Yep, and we have Dominator by Polarin and Lot. I didn't know this was actually a collab, so this makes a lot of sense. I believe Lot is the one, I assume, who does like most of the LN section, and Polarin is the one who does the Rice, which you'll see the Rice later on, which is classic Polarin. And there's some right there, but yeah.
So a couple of those imbus like jack transitions that can be very, very hard to call through, otherwise not that physically demanding. And again, a bit of transitioning between mini jacks and LN streams for the most part is pretty much the main theme of this map. And of course the dumpy burst in the middle for the Polarin kind of burst in the middle.
Yeah, here you start to see a little bit of technicality compared to Hybrid 1, but trust me when I say this is not as technical as the hybrid pool is going. Like, this is fairly untechnical in terms of hybrids.
It's fairly flowy, to be fair, and I don't think it's too physically demanding compared to Hybrid 1, definitely, but overall this may be one of the least physically demanding maps of the pool. You have the mini jacks, sure, there's that. Those are definitely choke points for the map, but otherwise it's mostly about accurately releasing the patterns and like not like struggling with the coordination aspects. Otherwise, it's mostly about finger control, I'll say. This is like the map for finger control. In both Rise and the Lens.
Yeah, finger control is a form of technicality as well, but finger control is kind of underrated as a skill set, and I do not think it is very, very explored, because it is pretty hard to map like in a meaningful way. But here it's done in a very, I guess, instrumental way. And while those interactions like from hand to hand and with the mini jacks and so on, it all flows pretty well, as you say. but it also is pretty rigid overall.
Yeah, this map is decently easy physically, so I think this will probably be the pick for a lot of the more LM-focused teams, and something that they will desperately need in this hybrid category, especially when we look into these next two hybrids, which Juan gave a bit of a sneak peek. Very, very technical. But
Oh
I guess
no, not Hybrid 3! No,
Yep, it is
not
down to
Hybrid
Hybrid
3! No! No!
Hybrid 3 is a bit of a map, and it is Descent, and yeah.
My
This is
beloved.
this is by far the most cursed and hardest map to pull. This is gonna be. Oh no, that's not the PSP! No!
Yeah, there are
Which is-
SVs.
The map will just speak for itself. We saw this on finals of Mini World Cup at some point on the SV department. This has SVs and is extremely hard and extremely technical. Look at this SV.
Bro,
Yeah.
Dr. Mango, please!
Dr. Mango is doing something when they map this. There's so many of these bursts, and all of them have like reverse shields. So I don't think there's a single one LN without like a reverse shield or shield with it. So keep this in mind. It's just super technical.
This is, I mean, at this point, you remember when you say, oh, Rise 2 is always the jump stream pick. Well, this is like, Hybrid 3 is always this kind of thing. I'm not sure how to call it, but it's literally just the kind of Hybrid 3.
This is the Dreamwalker Dr. Mango Tickle Bringo pick.
And he has a Visa.
The stupid Hybrid 3 map. And yeah, this does have SVs. They're not honestly too intrusive. They can be a bit of an issue if you're like not used to the song, but I think after like the first play, and you should play this map at least once, it's fine.
If you play the SV version of this, those SVs are almost the same as well, just less brutal.
Yeah, just actually, I think you should learn the SV map so that you learn how to play the SVs in this map specifically. That'd be great.
Oh my god. There's also the full stop on the quads. That's very fun.
God, this map is so funny.
It really is. But yeah, there's honestly not all that much to say. I feel like the patterning themselves is kind of, it speaks for itself. It's actually insane and is super awkward to be able to play. We already saw players like kind of struggle, I believe, on the Hybrid 3 from last pool and the pool before it, and this is just like that but cranked up to like 10.
That
Yeah,
pattern
well-
transition is so difficult with the mini jacks on the Aura column.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like, in the grand finals map pool, this might be a hot take, and I wasn't part of the pooling decision, so I did not have any say in this. So take my word with a grain of salt. I do not think that difficulty and balance in a grand finals map pool is a big issue, because people are going to be struggling regardless. It's just a matter of whether they struggle more or less in one or the other map, and this can be used to their advantage in strategy against the other team.
So now into Hybrid 4, we went through the classic Hybrid 3. The last hybrid of the picks. Here it is Survival at the End of the Universe. Another map here customly made by Jappy News.
Oh,
And another extra complex.
Yeah,
Wait,
and
wait, is it not? It's
Yeah, it's not that map. Yeah, it's Saitsu. Yeah, I was like, yeah.
interesting. But yeah, this map is, I think, my favorite in the hybrid pool, like by quite a bit. It is really fun, and it just continually speeds up. I think this is around where it like gets to almost max speed, but it does just speed up so much, and because of that, all the patterns are just super fast and super difficult to be able to combo. Honestly, when I think of this map, I don't know whether it's just because it's another defunct map, but I think of last year's Tetris rematch, which is kind of similar to this, where the Rice itself is like very difficult, but also the LN is intrusive in a lot of sections, and you don't even realize it sometimes.
Interesting approach. This is a very, very funk map. I think it is very funk core, like looking at it for the first time.
Yeah, and I do want to say, this map is decently short, but this ending specifically, I feel like it really gets a combination of both the Rice and LN aspect, to where it's kind of, I guess, more put together compared to like the earlier half, where I think it's a bit more split. But yeah, so very, very important to be able to have both fundamentals, especially at this point. But now it's time for, I think, our favorite pool, at least my favorite pool, the LN pool.
Yeah, of course it would be your favorite. You're an LN player.
It is. It is my favorite pool, and this map specifically is like my favorite song. Quad A and Penerary Recollect Lines. I love this song so much.
Yeah, let's go, Saimitsu. Saimitsu, it's your turn now.
Yay!
This is considered, of course, the LNEG map of the pool. So, expected to have a bit of everything, really. Some density aspects, mostly releases and finger coordination, but overall just less physically demanding than the rest of the pool.
Yeah, it's definitely less physically demanding, and I think honestly the coordination aspect isn't too bad. It's very, very kind of density based as we're seeing it right now. There's a lot of sections where the density kind of ramps up. It's not as bad as some of the density maps in the actual normal Mappool, and the like medium and the hard one, but still this map can kind of trip you up if you've been struggling a bit, especially on last maps or last pool's LNs, and honestly some teams were, so definitely not an easy map just by itself.
Yeah, I kind of want to say, like, this map might look like a Reveal core type of map, but Saimitsu has a way of getting technicality into maps, especially LNs, in a way that additional coordination is required to get those. This might be the easiest LN of the Mappool, but rest assured, this is pretty tricky to get down.
Yeah, some of the LN releases can be quite tricky here to hit properly, although you should probably not combo break through them. Most of the combo breaks instead, I believe, are gonna come from the density aspect. Sometimes there are hands that you don't expect, and those can be a bit intrusive to hit, and if you misread those density aspects, then you can easily fall into traps and miss a fair bunch.
Yeah, and this map
Like
is
that, for
decently...
example, you have to see that on tree pool. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
This map is decently long. I think most of the LN maps are decently long, honestly. It's decently similar to the Rice pool, where most of the maps are around 2 minutes, but this one is 2 minutes 48, and yeah, it's a lot of places to be able to mess up, a lot of places to be able to get back your combo if you need to, but still, this being one of the easier maps makes it to where combo is even more important.
Oh, nice anchors. It is kind of... Wait, who else uses LN anchors?
Like
I
everyone.
mean, there's a lot of people, yeah.
Okay, well, I was on something. It might be my beer, I don't know.
We
Could
haven't
be.
said mini jack that much, thinking about it.
Oh
Yeah, no,
no,
I'm not doing the drinking game this time, but I'm just chilling, to be honest.
it's time
Alright.
for Longno 2, then. Let's get into the medium. So LN2 here, it is trackless wilderness. And custom map with a very familiar background for those who play World of Warcraft, but nonetheless.
Not rip off the end, no!
But yeah, woohoo! We have what is likely going to be the speed-oriented LN of the pool here. Pretty much density and a lot of tricky coordination aspects in the density, really, due to how fast this can get. Some of the split patterns are very, very challenging to independently hit with one of the hands. And of course, collab here by JB and Funk. But essentially,
Yeah.
this is your sort of type of density that you regularly see, just that it is maybe less dense than the classic density pick, and instead replaces some of that density with more independency and more releases. than
Yeah,
the
what I
average
think-
straightforward intensity.
And what I think is interesting, like the contrast between this map and the first is mainly going to be on the speed itself. Like this is a pretty fast-paced, metal-oriented track, and as you may know from Rebirth: The End, yeah, I see you. This is going to be pretty speed-oriented in a way, and in terms of density, I do think you're going to be seeing worse things later on in the LN pool. But yeah, this does lend itself to be pretty demanding in terms of physicality.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This isn't necessarily too dense because there are so many shorter LNs, but really because of the amount of shorter LNs, I think we'll see this in the next map as well. But because of the amount of shorter LNs, it really requires a lot of like good Rice fundamentals specifically. But at the same time, there are a lot of LNs where they're kind of like longer, so you have to really focus on what you're going to be releasing. And this pad right here is very dense, actually, surprisingly.
I can see this map being decided by the ending so much. But anyways, that has been Longno 2. Please take that background out of my face. I hate this.
Rebirth the end! Rebirth the end!
Alright, and it is time for Suspectable by Mono.
Oh my god, sus! Imposter! Sus!
But
Oh,
this
no.
is a Danny PX LN map.
This is essentially techie long notes for the most part. You could argue this is maybe like a wildcard type of LM map for the most, but it has a bit of everything. It has even some rice that can feel a bit intrusive and hard to hit for the LM players, but it's mostly very small gaps.
Okay, so as some of you may have noticed, this is a OMLN 3 reuse, and I feel like I have made this joke before in OMLN 3 as well. I do not remember whether I commentated the showcase in OMLN 3 before, but I feel like I've made this joke before.
There's
Probably.
a chance.
Oh, those...
Keep them all too. Oh, that's kind of
Lots of
cool.
money.
These are the best.
But yeah, this is gonna be a little bit more of your wild card in your LN pool, I want to say, especially compared to the previous match, which were very much more, I guess, less technical overall. Like this has a lot of bursts, a lot of Danny PX style releases, and especially at high BPM, it's gonna be a little bit difficult to parse.
Yeah, and as I said in the last map, I feel like this map is pretty oriented on the shorter LN side, so really having that good ability to be able to play Rice is going to be important since, like, honestly, especially if you have, like, Percy, these LNs aren't going to be, like, shown as LNs, basically. They're mostly just going to be Rice. But, like, if you're very comfortable with, like, these shorter LNs, they also play like Rice, so, like, yeah, definitely going to be important to be able to have the ability to play this physically. Even though it isn't all that dense necessarily, it still is very difficult to be able to play. Also, the bursts on this map are like actually insane to be able to properly play consistently. And with the amount of them that do happen in this short 2 minutes and 20-second map, it's honestly insane if you get like a consistent FC, I feel.
It has
Yeah.
a lot of choke points, really. And it's the kind of choke points that you could very much see by releasing too early. Due to the patterns being like so flammy, it can make it tricky to read properly, and you can easily release something earlier than what you should have, and therefore cause a lot of mistakes. Other mini jacks on top of that, and reverse shields, it gets crazy. A lot of independency required, and a lot of releasing timing is very required on this map.
Yeah, I was just looking at those patterns as I was just reminded of a very old school, quote unquote, an old school meme from the LN community. Well, LN mapper community, that is. It is the triangle pattern called the Dorito. And Danny PX is a very big fan of the Dorito patterns, like the staggers starting on 1, 2, 3, and the release is ending
The
on
Dorito.
3, 2, 1. The opposite way.
All right, so let's move on now. It's LM4 time, I believe. So it's the last medium pick on the LM department here.
I believe so. And we will be seeing a return. It is My Darling, and it is going to be a return of U East from last pool. But instead of it being LN6, which is LN plus Rice, it's going to be just a regular LN map.
Wait, is this a VTuber? Wait, I'm gonna do a Google search.
Google.com.
Well, I guess we lost Matt to full.
Too VTuber addicted. But this map is decently coordination based. There is, as usual, UE's classic density sections towards the end. But there are a lot of places in this map, especially in this intro, where it's really important to be able to have good coordination fundamentals.
This is essentially just coordination, though. Like, it doesn't require too much physicality for the most part, but it is so easy to mind block all this. Like, there are so many jacks on the same column that you are holding. And after you go through that, then it just gets denser. It's essentially the same concept, just it's a lot more dense. And it doesn't really get to the inburst yet, but it's quite close to that. And it's very, very hard to just read, let alone hit it.
Okay, so in place of actually commentating on the map, I'm going to read the Wikipedia article. Guo Meimei, born as Guo Meiling, is a Chinese internet celebrity who was involved with some scandals and crimes. Guo was born in Yinjiang, Hunan in 1991, living with her mother in Yinjiang and Shenzhen when she was a child. Is this the right Guo Meimei? I feel like it's the wrong one.
Can someone clip that, please? Someone has to clip that.
Interesting.
Okay, going into the right, Wikipedia article. Jessie Guo is a Singaporean singer and songwriter beginning her career in mid-2005. 2005, was signed to Singapore record company Play Music, which was known for marketing the new artists as cartoon caricatures on album covers and music videos, depicted as a sweet innocent cartoonish character in promotional materials. Girl grew wide recognition within weeks of her debut single release. I'm skipping the entire article to go back to in 2011. Girl was mistaken for Guo Meimei, a Chinese internet celebrity, was involved in various scandals due to sharing the same Chinese name. Due to the mistaken identity, she was scolded online by netizens and had to cancel several performances. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Interesting. But
yeah, the map is pretty hard as well. Like we said, it goes a lot on the coordination aspect. It has a lot of independency, and I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, as y'all should have seen, it's especially right now. You're seeing like the finger dependencies. It's kind of like not number 30. I guess number 39 or like Helix 9, to where it's constant. You're holding down 4 fingers and then having to like release one randomly.
Oh man, so now long number 5. This is supposed to be the hardest map of the pool. Some people may expect a timing help, but there is not this time around. It will be another custom here by Imperial. It is Suisho or Suiso.
Yeah, it's gonna be our last and final VTuber pick. Iowa Hoshimachi Suiso, mapped by none other by Imperial.
Yeah, and this map is hard.
This is insane. This map is insane. Yeah, this map is like not too hard to FC, but oh my goodness, this is insanely hard to hack. Like the releases are all over the place, the gaps are insanely small, the snaps are just there. Like you cannot read those snaps. Those snaps are just all different. So you just have to play by hard or very, very orderly hit them. Although I'm not even sure if auto is going to help you. It's like a visual trick. And considering it's only 7, it's not gifting you any accuracy really. Had it being a bit slower than me. But just the fact you have to read through all this mess, and I don't want to call it mess because it's actually very fun to play, it's just that it is so tricky to read properly due to having so little gaps and so inconsistently so that you just cannot use the gaps to read it either. So I don't know how to play this map, I'll never know.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many ways. Honestly, I don't think this is like hackable unless you're like actually insane. You're like Yume or something. Y'all are lucky though. This could be the full version. It is cut. It's 2 minutes 12 seconds. Albeit that doesn't mean anything because you're going to be missing, and it's like you're going to be losing literally everything because of how dense it is, how difficult it is to coordinate, and just like how many places there are to choke on.
Yeah, like I don't know how Imperial does it. Like I haven't known Imperial for a long time, in terms of mapping at least, but Imperial has a way of making maps hard by just amping things up to 11, but still maintaining a rigid structure in his map.
Yeah, and we are getting up to this end, and it like literally doesn't stop. Like there was one break, and I think there was still like full on basically in that break.
Yep. All right. So that's it for the LM5. There is no timing hill this year, unfortunately, but hopefully next year. Who knows? Anyways, long nose.
And some of you might know this map from the first notes.
This map, honestly, when I saw it in the pool, I thought it was really funny. This is Slaughter Lemon Guy 1.1, the one used in MWC 2022. I played in that one.
Hey,
How
yo.
did you do?
I was there. Yeah, this map is like actually insane. I think it was used in Soft that same year and used in some other tournaments eventually. Yeah, this intro isn't anything too bad, but if you're not too comfortable with the kind of Lemon Guy Island that has gone kind of out of favor as of recently, it's definitely very, very difficult to be able to play it consistently.
Yeah, honestly, when I saw this pick in a Mappool, I think I saw it at first at 1.05 for semifinals. I screamed at the Mappoolers to not fucking put this in semifinals. They are insane. And well, here you go. Grand Finals 1.1.
Someone needs to control Path 2 at some point. I hope I wasn't Brad.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This is Slotta. Everyone knows this map. We don't even need to commentate this, so can we go back to the Wikipedia article?
No, please. We had enough, I think. I was still needing for BSVs, so just chill. We still have about 30 seconds, and I just can't keep talking and interrupting you so you don't get the chance to read the Wikipedia article.
True. But yeah, there's jacks in this map which are very, very easy to be able to like mess up on. Those longer jacks, especially if you're not too great at them, it's easy to just take a miss and stuff. And if you do want to see like some random scores, I think you can probably see scores from like different tournaments. It's been used so many times.
So into the SVs now. Let's get into SV1, shall we? Part 2.
Oh, is it time for SVs? SV1 is brought to you by none other by Odyssey. And this is going to be the second Odyssey map in the Mappool. And Unraveling Stasis, some of you might know this song from Vivid Stasis, and it is a song. And what you're gonna see is certainly a map. And among the two maps, oh my god, those teleport trails. This is, I think, to me, by far, no, this is the second hardest section of the map. And this takes a little bit to learn, but those trails are pretty well telegraphed. And well, some extra memo elements are required to nail this section, but you do have to take like 1 or 2 hours to learn this section alone if you're not too well versed in SVs. But trust me when I say this is the second hardest section of the entire song. But this is going to be somewhat of a quote-unquote conventional SV among the two SVs.
Kind of funny because my internet is not working too well, and I'm not sure if it's my screen lagging or if it's just the SV.
But yeah, like those those quote-unquote jacks are also pretty well telegraphed. Like the snaps are all 1/4, but it looks like they're all stacked towards the end, but they're all 1/4. It is a pretty easy section to nail, in my opinion.
I like the
And
overlapping LNs.
Yeah, like this section is incredibly fun. Like this section is pretty easy to nail, but it looks so good and it is incredibly fun to play as well. So even if you're not good at SV, you might want to try this in no fail or something. This is very hard to time, but it's pretty easy compared to the next section that you're gonna see. And the next the section after this one, I could not parse at all. Like yeah, this is pretty standard. This one is hard. I cannot play this section. I do not know how to play this section. This is the hardest part, I think.
It's funny because it looks like the pattern is going upside down for some moments, but it's not that hard to play once you understand what is going on. Like it's just galloping for the most part with Yellen. But yeah, I can see them being very tricky.
Yeah, I think like rhythmically wise, that section that you just saw was pretty simple. But in terms of execution, it has a way of tripping you up.
Releasing the LN is the problem, really, I think, because you're not used to release the LN, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but maybe I just needed more practice on that one. But let's go into the final non-tiebreaker map of the entire tournament, which is gonna be none other than my own map, which is the most cursed thing I've ever done. This is kind of a spiritual sequel to both Digibuprofen and Mula from MWC, and this kind of borrows some of the same gimmick ideas, like very 1 millisecond teleports and very, very cursed stuff. Like that start, for example, like this was a 0 BPM freeze with read ahead gimmicks, and you're gonna see that a whole lot in this map. Those transitions, I don't know what I cooked, but it is something.
Very funny because my audio is a bit desync as well for the internet, so this just gets even more cursed than it actually is. But yeah, this is insanely tricky. As you saw, there's a lot of visual tricks and a lot of very, very sudden, I mean, not even sudden, memo teleports really at some point. There isn't so much you can react. Like that, for example, you really need to understand the gimmick. Otherwise, you're not hitting it. You can't really react to it. How the node blips and the telegraph streams, like, yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, like, if you don't have any Thursday, it's gonna be looking really funny. Go ahead, Snapple.
This is one of the maps of all time. I honestly, like, this is actually such a step up from the last SP, honestly.
I am not so sure about that. Like, doesn't look too physically demanding at all. If you understand what's going on, of course, that's part of the thing with SVs, right? So, like, it's not too physical. Like, if you put, like, all the time in the world to practice this, then maybe, like, you just need to memorize the whole thing. It's easy.
It's so easy.
Look at that. That's so cool.
Yeah, it goes up and down. It's so cute. This is one of the easiest parts of the map. It's just cool to look at.
It's only 3 minutes and 30 seconds as well.
Yeah, like, it might be 3 minutes and 30 seconds, but as you saw, like, before, there was a substantial amount of breaks in this section. Is
that's so
fucking
cool.
funniest thing in the world.
You see the pattern? That is the pattern you have to do. The one that is up on the quads. That's so cool.
This part is the funniest thing I've ever done, and I'm so proud of it.
Oh,
that's so cool. I love
Grand Finals SV2.
But yeah, I kind of cooked, low-key cooked, and this last part sounds so fucking badass. Like, this song is so good. And
yeah.
Calisoid, my beloved.
As as you see, like the LNs are telegraphing you the streams on the teleports that Invisible knows, and then it is the pattern after the quads that telegraphs you the pattern you have to hit. And that's what I mean. This map looks way more daunting and intimidating than what it probably is if you know how to read telegraphs. The telegraphs here are very, 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 very nicely done, and you can spot them, then you may be able to play it. Otherwise, yeah, you're just gonna suck at this. You're just gonna get destroyed.
Yeah, like all things considered, like this is not rhythmically that complex. Like there are some parts where you have to figure out some polyrhythms, and there are many parts where you have to figure out what even went into my mind when I made this. And enjoy Philly Midnight just staring at you. Anyways, before we go into the
Yeah.
tiebreaker, we do want to thank everyone for watching us, for participating in those pleasantries and this tournament. And also we want to thank all staff. I want to let one of the hosts actually do it. Juan, go ahead.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoyed 4DM so far. There's still some more action going, of course. The final tiebreaker of the final Mappool showcased right now, right here. We have two couple things to say before that. We're gonna jump straight into it after I'm done with the speech, and then we'll have a special announcement. So stay tuned after the tiebreaker is revealed, displayed, because we will want to properly thank all the people who work hard for this tournament to become the thing it is. Not just the staff, although very big thanks to them, map pullers, referees, testers, commentators, streamers, everyone really, people that help with the wiki, people that help with the schedules, everybody, and as well as the players. So we prepared something special at the end for all of the involved parties, I guess, in the tournament. So I hope you stay tuned for that after the tiebreaker is revealed. I want the copy paste there. There it is on the chat. Thank you, everyone. Because now we will jump straight into the final map for the M. And I shall say it properly. For the Thank you, everybody. We'll see you after the tiebreaker.
No, we we're
Yes,
not
we will.
seeing
Yeah.
we're not seeing you
All
after
right.
the tiebreaker. Remember the script, guys. Remember the fucking
remember.
script.
Okay.
I gotta
All right,
swear again. I'm gonna swear for the last time of this stream. We're not gonna be seeing. Oh my god.
So if you're following the script, then I shall thank all the mappers that helped with the tiebreaker. Kick it off, Danny.
Bye.
Bye.